Hello, welcome back to the circuit. My name's Mark and this is Slot Track Racer. So, I've been missing off your screens now for probably about 3 weeks, and in all honesty I've been having a bit of an existential crisis really, wondering why I'm making the videos, who's watching them, if anybody's enjoying them, all the rest of the doubts that we go through when we start off a new YouTube channel. So I've been away for a little while, but I'm back now. I've got to tell you that episode 8, I've filmed it and edited it completely twice and deleted it because I just thought it was rubbish. So this is episode 8 and it's version 3 of episode 8, so I do hope that you enjoy it. Okay, so what have we got coming up? So if you're a certain age like I am, you probably remember Saturday afternoons watching World of Sport on the telly. Part of World of Sport, they used to always feature rallycross motorsport, and I think that's where I got my love of rally cars from, and maybe even my love of scale electric and motor racing in general. So today what I thought I'd do was have a look at 2 rally cars that are in my collection, and they're really special ones, ones that I've converted to digital, and I think that the livery on them is really nice, and they're really nice cars, so I'll show you those. I invested recently in some race management software called Scale Electric Sports Digital Console, SSDC, and with that I could get the results on the screen there on the wall. So I've done a video about how I installed that and got it working. It wasn't one of my best, so what I thought I'd do today was just do a quick reminder of how to set up drivers and cars in SSDC software. So as I say, it's all about the racing, isn't it? So what I'm going to do at the end of the video is I'm going to set up a 2-minute endurance challenge using one of the featured rally cars against my beastly BMW. So the BMW is one of the pace cars that I run here, sticks to the track, gets really fast lap times. So using one of the featured rally cars, I'm going to see if I can match it in a 2-minute endurance race. So I think that's good enough reason for you to stay watching this episode of Slot Track Racer. So without any further ado, let's get on. So this is a circuit as it stands. I would imagine it looks remarkably similar to the last time you saw it, in that so far I haven't started work on any of the buildings or done any of the landscaping or scenery. However, I have been doing some infrastructure work which is important to get done before I do start building scenery. So for instance, I've bought this small form factor computer which is driving my SSDC software, and you can see that I've done some work on tidying up those cables so they're going down underneath the table. Similarly with the advanced power base, I've done a bit of cable management and drilled some holes to get the wires through there. I've still got this jumble of cables where the hand controllers are, so I'm thinking up a solution I can do there, so when I pick up a hand controller all 6 don't fall on the ground at once. The screen on the wall is now operational and plumbed in, so I'm pleased with that because I can now see lap times clearly without having to bend down and peer at the advanced power base tower. Underneath the table, so if you just mind your head, there we go. So I've put in some extension socket there, and I've actually tacked that wiring all the way around the table. So that's helping with management of the cables. Let's come back up. And in other news, winter has started in the UK, well autumn at least, so I've got a lot of the garden furniture in the garage, so space is running out at the moment. Going forward, I am going to start building scenery, and I intend to start in this area with a nice building there near to the pit lane. I've said before that I'm not going to tell you which track I'm going to model, but I'm doing a tribute to a track that's very dear to my heart, and once you see the first buildings going up, you may be able to have a guess what track you think it is. If you have got an idea, maybe post something down in the comments. But that's where I'm going to start. My tables, there are actually 4 tables, so there's one there, one in the middle, one in the back corner, and then this one. So I will model each table separately. I'll have to dismantle the track, probably lift it into the house, and then do that section as a whole piece in one go. So when you come next time, hopefully we'll have a bit of progress there. Of all the cars made by Scalextric, I think my favourites are nearly always the rally cars. These are 2 of my absolute favourites. The Ford Focus RS WRC, that's the Rally Sport World Rally Championship. So these 2 cars were brought out by Scalextric in the year 2000 and 2001. This was a first, this was in the year 2000 catalogue. So here it is up close. I really love the colours on this car and the livery and all the logos. I think it looks really super. Nice white wheels, branding on the tyres, it looks really super. So this car was driven by Colin McRae and Nicky Grist in the World Rally Championship of 2000, and they actually did quite well. They ended up in 4th position. The car first appeared in the Scalextric catalogue in the year 2000, so shortly afterwards really. The catalogue number is C2176, I believe. I'll check that and put it up on screen. But it was a super addition to the range. Look at the detail there with the spare wheel in the boot. So the lovely sponsored logos. And the detailing of the metal in the bonnet there. I think this is a really super model. I really like it. So I picked it up in the UK Slot Car Forum when it used to be held in Coventry Motor Museum, the winter version, so in December. I picked this car up there, and I'm thinking it was possibly 7, 8, 9 years ago. As you know, I'm a digital racer, so I've converted this car to digital, and you can just see the sensor there between the 2 pickup wires. So it was a bit of a tight squeeze to get the chip in here. I used the Retro F1 chip, so the sensor went there. That was quite tight in itself. To give you an idea, the chip is sort of diagonal. It goes across the bonnet underneath the dashboard, and it's between where the bulb goes in there and the dashboard. So you can do it if you're thinking about doing it yourself. There is space inside these cars. It can be done with the Retro F1 chip. So that's the Colin McRae version. So 1 year later, this car came out. So this is the version of the Focus that was driven by Tapio Laukkanen and his co-driver Lindström. So car number 19. This competed in the same championship as Colin McRae, and this one finished in about 18th position. I do believe it only competed in about 2 of the rounds, so that's why it got such a low points haul. But again, I really like the livery on it, really like the colours. This one's got the spoiler. I suspect that maybe the spoiler's fallen off that one. I'll have to check that out. But this one's got the spoiler there. It's got the spare tyre in the back. Same high quality logos and sponsor livery. And again, this one has been converted to digital. So there's the sensor, and again the chip goes in underneath the dashboard, and it goes sort of diagonally leaning up against this bulb holder. These 2 cars really do look beautiful in my opinion. The driving and the handling isn't as good as I'd like it to be. I have started work on the tyres, tried to sand them. These have got the ribbed tyres on, so they don't hold the road too well, and perhaps need to do some more work. But if I get a chance to race them later on in this video, you'll see how they compete against my beastly BMW pace car. Loaded on my laptop I have the Scalextric Sports Digital Console software. What I thought I'd do was remind you how we create new cars and new drivers within that software. So what I'm going to do is to create one of the Ford Focuses that I own, and then add one of the drivers of that Ford Focus. So let's start off and see how we do that. So the first thing that we need to do is fire up the Scalextric Sports Digital Console software SSDC. There you are, that's open now and that's running on my laptop. So to create cars and drivers, the area that we'll be working in is this right hand side panel here. And if you see down the bottom, can you see there it says drivers? And if I move the mouse across, there it says cars. So let's start off by creating a new car. So I'm going to open the Cars tab by clicking on it. Move up to the top of the screen and you can see that there's these three icons to add a new car, or to duplicate an existing car, or delete a car. So I'm going to create a new car, and I'm going to do that using this icon here with a green cross on. So I'm going to click that, and it's actually created the new car record immediately. It's already in there. Here it is. But unfortunately all the values that it's brought across are default values. So let's go through and modify those default values. So the first thing I'm going to do is put a picture of my car in here. So I have some pictures on my hard drive. So under this Scalextric folder, under photos, in cars, and this is a car I'm going to set up. It's the Ford Focus number 19. So there's its picture there. There's a section here that I can alter the colour of the car. Now mainly this affects how the display shows when the race is in progress and the cars are racing. The colour will change the text on the screen to match your car. So what I'm going to do is, because this car is predominantly white, I'm going to set this colour to be white as well. So to do that I'm going to click on the colour there, and that's brought this palette up here. I'm clicking on the white colour just there, and then I'm going to come here and click on OK, and that's now changed the colour of that car to white. So we need to give the car a meaningful name, so I'm going to call it Ford Focus WRC. The description field is an arbitrary field. You don't have to fill it in, but it's a good idea just to give some details about your car. So I'm going to say this is a Scalextric car, and it's C2343 Ford Focus WRC. So if I just click off that, that's now been recorded in the description field. You can see that there's some more options here. This is all to do with the burning of fuel. So this software can simulate a full fuel load or an empty fuel load. So as you race, your tank starts to empty. Now I've only been using the software for a few weeks really, and I haven't got into the fuel side of things. So I'm going to leave these values on their default value. I'm not going to alter them. And that essentially is all that you need to do to create this car. So the car is now loaded into the database. So let's do the same thing and create a brand new driver. Now when you're creating drivers, typically it's going to be members of your family or your friends, or even members of your Scalextric club. So I haven't got any friends. So I'm just going to create a imaginary driver, and it's going to be the driver of this car in real life. So again, I've got the same icons. I've got add a driver, duplicate a driver, or delete a driver. So I'm going to click on this button with the green arrow, click on that now, and create a new driver. So again, the driver's now already created in the database, but he's got default values. So let's go through and edit those values. So same thing, the first thing I'm going to do is add a picture. If I come back to this folder that has my photos in, I'm going to click on photos there, click on drivers there. Let's double click that and it's opened. And I'm going to set up the driver called Tapio Laukkanen. So that's his picture, if you was wondering, that's what he looks like. There he is. Again, he can have a colour associated to him, and this will affect the text that shows up when there's a race in progress. So what colour for Tapio? Well, his overalls are blue and yellow, so let's maybe choose him a yellow colour. His name, we enter that in this field here. I've just highlighted that. So his name is Tapio Laukkanen. It's got 2 K's. There's that in there. So there are times when you're using SSDC software when it will announce the name of the driver, and it does that by reading the value in this field here. So at the moment it's new driver, so I'm going to change that. So click there and I'm going to call it Laukkanen. So if you want to hear how that will sound when the software announces it, if you click on this speaker icon up here, it will actually say his name.
Laukkanen.
I'll do that again.
Laukkanen.
So if you're unhappy with that pronunciation and it doesn't sound particularly Finnish, does it? What you can do is put in a sort of phonetic version of his name. So let's go with this Laukkanen, and let's try that, see if that sounds any better.
Laukkanen. Laukkanen.
Still not quite right. How about if I put an R just there, look.
Laukkanen. Laukkanen.
That doesn't sound too bad now, does it? I'm sure it's not quite the Finnish pronunciation of his name, but
Laukkanen.
Doesn't sound too bad. So let's have a look at the other values. We can set Tapio's favourite car. So I'm going to set this to be the Ford Focus. It's not that important that we set this, but when we set up races, when we drag Tapio's name into the race, it will always come with his favourite car. So if I've pre-selected that to be the Ford Focus, and that's a car he always races, it will just save me one extra mouse click. So I've done that. There's some more detailed options here to do with how the brake operates on his hand controller. Again, because I've only been using the software for just a few short weeks, I'm not going to set those values. And there's a section here where I can, at a later stage, make him a pace driver, and that means that he will drive a car autonomously. That means that he's not a real driver like myself or maybe my friends. He's actually a pace car driver. He's an imaginary driver that will drive a pace car. So I'm not going to click that just now. I'm going to leave that blank. And also the other values here. So that is essentially how you create a new driver and a new car in SSDC software. So that's quite a lot of talking. In Blue Peter fashion, I've got a race that I prepared earlier, and for the last part of the video, let's watch the race and see if I can get my Ford Focus World Rally car running as fast as I possibly can to see if it can beat my beastly BMW. So here are both cars on the grid. We're ready to race. Everything's recording. I've got one camera, the main screen is recording. I've got a camera over there and I've got the main video camera. So you wouldn't believe how unbelievably difficult this is to get footage to show you. But as soon as I hit the start button, we're going to have 2 minutes endurance. All I've got to do is stay on the track for 2 minutes, or else it's going to be a really boring video, isn't it? So we hit the start button and we're ready to race.
It is! Go, go, go!
You're leading the race, you're leading the race.
Well, I've got round for the first lap. The BMW's already got a lead on me. I don't get too much talking, so I need to concentrate. Round. I obviously didn't win, but let's see the results. So Matt Neal in the BMW, he did 16 laps. Nicky Grist in the Ford Focus did 15. So Matt's fastest time is 7.1 seconds for this course. I actually got a 7.2 there. That's really fast for this car, so I'm really pleased with that. Pity I didn't win, but I wasn't humiliated, and that was what I was expecting. So let's have a look at the two cars again. Well, let's have a look at the Ford Focus. There he is, old Nicky Grist. He didn't win, but he did really well. Haha, hello. He did really well. So this is where I go in the house, check all the footage on the cameras, and realise that one of them wasn't recording or the setup wasn't right. But hopefully not, and I'll have some nice video to edit together to show you. There you go. Good race. Well, I got well and truly beaten in that race, didn't I? Never mind, I hope at least that you liked it. And if you did, perhaps you'll click on the like button for me. And if you've not seen me before, maybe click on subscribe, tell your friends, and also click on the bell icon, because that means that you'll get reminded when I post some more content. I'm trying to put things out about once a week. I'm falling behind a bit, but the channel should get more interesting if you just stick with me. So there you are. That's all I've got for you this week. So if I don't see you through next week, I'll see you around the circuit. Bye. Why am I so awkward?